What's going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and I got an update to some things we were talking about yesterday, or rather one thing in particular, and that is, the uncertainty of the NFL season, more specifically with training camp. Because we had the report dates, and it hadn't been confirmed. Rookies weren't sure if they were supposed to go, all that and the other. But the NFL has given us the answer on whether or not those dates are set in stone and whether or not that players are expected to start reporting. And so this is coming from multiple sources, but this report comes from NFL.com themselves, and it says NFL training camp set to start as scheduled. Training camp for all 32 NFL teams will commence as previously scheduled, with veterans set to report on July 28th. So that's 10 days from now. NFL Executive Vice President of Football Operations Troy Vincent sent an email to all 32 NFL clubs, general managers, and head coaches notifying them of this on Saturday. The email obtained by NFL Network's Tom Pelissero read, "At Friday's league meeting, the membership was advised that under the collective bargaining agreement, the reporting dates for training camp this year are as follows. Rookies on July 21st, that's 3 days from now. Quarterbacks and injured players, July 23rd, 5 days from now. And then all other players on the 28th, which is 10 days from now. Kansas City Chiefs and Houston Texans rookies are the first who are scheduled to report, which will come Monday." So that's tomorrow, actually, right? Because today's Saturday, so that's 2 days from now. So that's the 20th. So couple days, man. We're a couple days away from having people start going into the building. Let's see. All other teams can have rookies report as early as Tuesday, with veterans following on July 28th. Meanwhile, as Pelissero added, discussions remain between the NFL and the NFL Players Association as to proper protocols. So that's part of the update. Is that yesterday we were talking about, let's see what they do. Do they just keep leaving the uncertainty until last minute? Do they give us some word? Are they going to, enforce these dates without actually giving the players and the NFLPA and everybody answers on what the actual, protocols and measures are going to be? And that seems exactly what they are going to do. They're going to push to have this thing open without having given anybody any legitimate or substantial answers. And I mean, look, I seriously doubt that in the next 2 to 3 days, when, the Texans and Chiefs rookies report on Monday, and then all the rest of the rookies report on Tuesday, between now and then the subsequent days where more and more people report, I just don't see them, coming to terms. But it's going to be interesting because, I would venture to guess if they haven't, agreed on anything, which as far as I'm concerned, from my perspective, the players would be smart not to agree because the protocols are not close to adequate, right? So, and the health and safety, as J.C. Treader, the NFLPA president for the, as elected by the players and is a player, said it's about their health and their safety, and that's the number one thing, right? So they still have a long way to go before, and frankly, again, at the end of the day, is from my perspective, the only real acceptable answer anyway is to just shut down the NFL because it's way too dangerous, way too much of a risk, and the only point in purpose, there's only 2 points in purpose, right, to this. The profit for the NFL and the billionaire owners, and entertainment. Okay, and I get it, right? And this is why a lot of people call me negative and stuff, because they're only thinking in an emotional sense and about themselves. Like, people who watch my videos, they'll be like, "Oh, what you think the answer is to shut down?" Yes, because that's the right answer. Shut down the fucking NFL, because that's the only way you can logically and reasonably avoid what's coming. Because it's coming, trust me. It's already started, but man, when they open training camps, it is going to just explode. And so the only way to avoid that is to just not give it the opportunity to begin with. But they are pushing for it. And so, look, I get fans want to watch football. I want to watch football. But there are certainly far more important things than just watching football. And if for me, if you're willing to, forego the luxury, right? I'm certainly willing to forego that luxury in a time of dire uncertainty and, whatever, amid a pandemic and whatnot. If you're willing to forego that, then you have to realize then the only other point and purpose of this venture is to ensure that the NFL and the billionaires continue to rake in ungodly amounts of money while putting all of the risk on the players, the coaching staffs, the fans, etc. Right? So, and that's not anywhere close to worth it. It's not. Money and capitalism and greed is not worth it. It's not. So you'll never get me to sign off on that. Anyway, to finish this up though, currently no more than 20 players would be allowed at one time in the team facility. This will remain until the NFLPA signs off on infectious disease emergency response plans for each club, Pelissero added. However, clubs have the right to set reporting dates per CBA rules. So as it stands, they're set to report. Okay, you can no more than 20 players at a time, but that's way more than enough. And again, you can stagger it if you want. The testing is not going to be anywhere near adequate. It's going to get into the buildings at some point, and it's going to fucking spread. They're trying to just will it away and ignore it and think it's not going to fucking come up. Following receipt of Saturday's memo, multiple teams sent notice to rookies and began booking flights for them to report on Tuesday, Pelissero reported. That's another thing too. They're all going to be flying on commercial airlines from different areas of the country. And then a lot of them are going to be going to hotspots like, Houston or Miami. I mean, it's such a disaster in the making. But like I said, bro, and who knows, maybe I'll be wrong, but they're not going to be able to hide it, right? They're not going to be able to keep it behind closed doors if, there are breakouts within facilities and rosters are getting decimated by, COVID positive tests and people start getting, really sick and even some casualties, some fatalities, right? So, I mean, buckle up, man. Buckle up. Let's see. Pelissero also added that myriad unknowns remain, among them the structure of training camp, but teams are moving forward as if players will start showing up to facilities this week. Meanwhile, talks between the NFL and NFLPA on protocols continue. I mean, but see, that's the thing though, is they're going to open up camp, rookies are going to report, then quarterbacks and injured players are going to report, then everybody's going to report, they're going to start going through practices and whatever, and they're still going to be going back and forth on protocols. But it's too late at that point. Those protocols are supposed to be for camp, right? Not like during camp or after camp, right? Anyway, whatever. And again, even if they come to some sort of agreement in the next day, right? 2 days, because the Texans and Chiefs players are going to start reporting in 2 days from now. So unless if they do manage to come up with some sort of, agreement on protocols within that time, which seems to be not a thing right now, but if they manage that miracle, those protocols are still not going to be adequate and there are still going to be outbreaks. Hope I'm wrong, but I mean, buckle up because here it comes. And I've given y'all the warning. I've given people the warning. I put it out there. I hope I'm wrong. Look, I'd rather be, and this will be the final thing I say. I'd rather be painted as a negative person, and because I give the warning, I ring that alarm bell, and then end up being wrong and admitting I was wrong on the back end, and be like, man, whew, dodged a bullet there, right? Then just, conform and go along with the consensus, whatever, and please people and do flowery videos instead of these videos, just so that way we can end up, so that way I can lie to people and not sound the alarm bell and then end up being right, and there being fucking massive outbreaks, etc., etc. I'm not gonna do that. So, look, I hope you guys do appreciate my perspective. I just got to keep it real with y'all. So I hope you appreciate my perspective. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comment section. And of course, as always, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I'm out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.